Good morning, I'm Sam Carter. Thanks for joining us today for Mornings on the Hill.
And I'm Faith Kane. Here's a look at some of the stories we'll be talking about in our first half hour.
A female-run art exhibition is touching on some very serious issues. Our reporter Alexandria Bennett will tell us about the impact their art is making.
There's a very exciting volunteer opportunity on campus. We'll tell you how you can get involved and help the lives of children in our area.
And finally, the New York Mets were in town yesterday. We'll take you to the Carrier Dome for a look inside their final spring practice.
All that, plus your weather and orange sports coming up on this edition of Mornings on the Hill.
In our top story this hour, hundreds of students will gather tonight for Syracuse University's annual Take Back the Night event.
Our Olivia Proya is live at Hendricks Chapel where the event will take place. She's joined by one of the co-chairs of the event. So Olivia, what exactly is Take Back the Night?
Thank you so much, Sam and Faith. So Take Back the Night is an event that happens all across the country, and tonight it's going to be happening right here at Syracuse University. Students are going to gather here at Hendricks Chapel to talk about sexual violence, relationship violence, and other kinds of interpersonal violence. So this is Vanessa Ramlal. She's the co-chair of the planning committee for Take Back the Night, and she's going to tell us about what's going to be happening at the event tonight. So what'll be going on?
So the event is fairly long. It begins at 7 p.m. and we start out with a rally, and the rally, we have some amazing speakers, from students to our keynote speaker to live performances and other activities happening. And then after that, there's the march where students, it's a way for students to feel engaged and empowered. And we march around campus for about 15 minutes or so. And then the last part is the speak out. And the speak out is much more intimate, much more personal. And that's a safe space where survivors or whoever has been affected by interpersonal violence can, share their story and just be supported by others in the room.
So what kind of turnout are you expecting?
For years, we've had a great turnout. I think, from 600 people to 1,000 to even more. But for us, it's not about the numbers. It's about, people being present. Because, like I said, it can be very emotional. So we don't really care about the numbers. It's just about who's there and who, can learn from this event.
So Take Back the Night is basically about feeling safe within your community at night. How do you think that relates to the SU community and the nearby surrounding area?
I think for me, Take Back the Night is super important because even with the community nearby and the SU community, it's about feeling safe at all times, right? So feeling safe, whether it's walking to class or walking home from the library or a night out or whatever it may be, just as long as that you feel safe and that, that you can even if something does happen, that you feel empowered to speak up about it and know that there are resources on campus to help you.
Great. So thank you so much, Vanessa, for joining us. Take Back the Night will happen here at Hendricks Chapel at 7 p.m. tonight. And that's all from me. I'm Olivia Proya for Mornings on the Hill.
The new art exhibit on campus is addressing some heavy issues.
The two-woman exhibit opened Friday at the Random Access Gallery in Smith Hall. Alexandria Bennett is live in studio to share some details.
Thank you. I checked out the art exhibit and caught up with one of the featured artists. The exhibit is titled Skin in the Game and focuses on bringing awareness to sexuality, gender, and empowerment. Malena Barnhart is an artist based out of Arizona, and she creates sculptures, vinyl, and video pieces. And when creating this artwork, she keeps in mind her goal to challenge the viewer.
I feel like the best art and just a good general practice for as a human is to take your own beliefs out and see if they hold true. Poke at them, see if they hold up.
Barnhart says the fuel behind her latest creations stem from her frustration with current issues in the news, specifically the Me Too movement and assaults on women. Syracuse University graduate student Reagan Henley put the show together, and she said she's hopeful that students will come out and support the art and that it will bring something larger to campus.
I think that confrontational art is going to be important in getting people to have the conversations that we need to have in order to move forward with the way that we run our society.
Now, Skin in the Game will be on campus for a few more weeks, so head over to Smith Hall and check it out. Challenge yourself to think outside the box and see where it takes you. I'm Alexandria Bennett for Mornings on the Hill.
Thanks, Alexandria. Time to check the weather for today.
Kayla Burton is live out on University Avenue to tell us what to expect.
Thanks, you guys. Well, listen, if you woke up maybe feeling a little sluggish, maybe a little blue, I got some good news for you. If you look behind me, there is no snow on this ground and only sunlight. And it's only going to continue to get a little bit better for today. Let's check out the forecast for what we have. We do have to be a little realistic this morning. It was definitely still a little cold at 23 degrees. But like I said, the sun is out and heating up on the hill. Later in the morning, it will jump to 37 degrees. And better news is that the temperature will continue to climb. We should reach about up to 48 degrees throughout the middle of the day. And today, with the sun out, you will definitely start to feel the warmth. And then later tonight, it will drop to about 37 degrees. So all in all, not so bad. Like I said, the sun is out. It is a little chilling. Don't let me deceive you with the no gloves, but at least there's no snow. Guys, for Mornings on the Hill, I'm Kayla Burton. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Kayla. Students with peanut allergies can feel a little safer while chowing down on campus.
That's right. The Food Services Production Kitchen has recently become certified free from peanut and tree nut allergens.
Food Services Production is where most of the food on campus is made, so this will impact all your favorite eateries around the university. This is all part of SU's 3-year plan to making dining facilities safer. By getting rid of those allergens, all students can feel confident in their food choices.
For the 21st year, Syracuse is going to host 100 fifth graders from Syracuse's Seymour Academy for Shadow Day.
The program allows Seymour students to follow current Syracuse students for the day, but this year they are short on volunteers. So the Office of Community Engagement is reaching out to the university community. They say the perfect student volunteer is just someone who loves SU.
A great candidate is somebody who can talk to a fifth grader, somebody who knows a lot about SU, and somebody who can talk to somebody from the community. So you don't have to be from Syracuse, but you just have to have an appreciation for Syracuse and the surrounding area.
If you'd like to volunteer for Shadow Day, contact the Office for Community Engagement at 315-443-5593.
Our reporter Kylan Watson will tell us how the hard work of Falk students is being put to the test.
Also coming up, March is National Nutrition Month, so Michelle Houston will sit down with a nutrition professor to talk about keeping up healthy habits for the rest of the year. Stay with us for those stories and much more here on Mornings on the Hill.
The nation's top college boxers battled it out in Syracuse over the weekend, competing in the U.S. Collegiate Boxing Tournament.
Students from all over the country battled it out in 15 different weight classes. Syracuse had 11 men and women take part in the tournament that took place over 2 days. Syracuse graduate student Jeff Freeler took home the national title in 178-pound weight class.
If you are in Falk College on the second floor, you can't miss them.
Posters line the walls announcing an annual student research competition. Our Kylan Watson is live in studio to explain.
Thanks, guys. This event is a big deal at Falk. Students showcase their research and they compete against each other.
Falk Student Research Day is a competition for students from 5 departments in Falk College. This is the 3rd year for the event.
So one of our faculty had the idea of highlighting undergraduate and graduate student research that goes on in the college. So all the work that our students are doing with our faculty mentors, and we decided to create a competition for the students to participate in to give them some practical practice to present their posters. And
I said the number of students in the competition has increased every year. Last year they had 17 posters entered. This year it is up to 20. Some students think the competition has helped them prepare for conferences, and one keeps coming back for more.
My sophomore year, and I was able to, I won like a prize. I won a prize, and basically it got me a free travel voucher for any conference. So I went to this big analytics conference, so I thought that was a cool experience. So I figured I'd do it again.
I think students have nothing to lose and so much to gain.
On something cool, it's a good way to get your research exposed and get it out there.
Students will present their findings on Thursday and Friday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. and judging will take place after that. A winner will be declared at the end of the week.
Amy Dumas says Falk is considering expanding the Research Celebration Day to include the fall semester. She is also working on collaborating with the Surge. That's the new undergraduate research center in Byrd College. Reporting live in studio, I'm Kylan Watson for Mornings on the Hill.
Your Orange Buzz Report. What's trending here on campus, or should I say social media? Tweets are coming in about Noah Syndergaard's comments from Instagram when he said he didn't want to come to Syracuse for the Mets' last practice of training. So Pay said the only guy who wanted out of Syracuse more than Noah Syndergaard was apparently Tyus Battle. And coming from Global, said Syndergaard waves his flag, plays nice in Syracuse for 2 days after Mets pitcher Noah Syndergaard said he wasn't looking forward to making the trip. He said not even the slightest bit. He ran around the Carrier Dome waving the flag. And you can see that in this picture right here, where he's waving this flag. Another tweet came in from Greg saying Noah Syndergaard, future mayor of Syracuse, which is kind of crazy and funny. Another one coming in and saying it was only fitting that Noah came out waving the Syracuse flag. No hard feelings, Syracuse. Noah is just trying to make a point to this team, wants a championship, running them tired before opening day. And that is all that I have for you for Morning on Orange Buzz. I'm Danielle Bullock. This is Morning on the Hill.
March is National Nutrition Month, and we all know eating healthy can be a challenge for college students.
Our Michelle Houston is live in studio this morning with tips to help you stay on track with good nutrition.
Thanks, guys. I'm joined this morning with Falk College Nutrition Assistant Professor Shaya Lee Charles. How are you? Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So, National Nutrition Month, why is it so important to dedicate a whole month to just nutrition?
Well, of the 10 leading causes of death in America, 6 of them have a nutrition component. And so I think a lot of people don't really understand the huge way that nutrition affects overall life and overall health. The other thing too is there's a lot of nutrition information out there, a lot of which is not accurate. And so as nutrition professionals, as dietitians, it's important for us to dedicate a month to really get a good message and make sure that we're dispelling any of the nutrition myths that you might see on magazines or popular radio shows or television or online. Because a lot of those things are actually trying to sell you a product or marketing themselves. Rather than giving you really good, sound nutrition information.
So what are some of the things that people might think is true and probably isn't accurate?
I think the biggest thing is just falling into the diet trap of thinking that there is only a specific way that you can eat to be healthy. Anytime that you demonize any type of food, so carbs are bad, fat is bad, or anytime that supplements start to play more of a role than real whole food, I think that's where people get into the biggest issues. Again, a lot of the supplement pushes are people just trying to sell you product. And a lot of the other diets that are out there really aren't science-based or research proven. But what is proven is that when you have a diet that is high in whole foods, good fats, and less processed, less salt, less sugar, that's when people tend to have the best health outcomes.
Okay, so in these videos we have, you see students have Starbucks, coffee, and salad all while typing on their laptops. Now, how can someone with a busy lifestyle like that stay on top of their diet?
I think the biggest thing in that situation is to try to plan ahead. I know that that's difficult when you already have so many things going on, but the more you can plan ahead, the less you are at risk of making those kind of impulse choices. When we're in a grocery store or a cafe or a dining hall and you're making just split-second decisions, that's when we tend to make choices that aren't necessarily the healthiest for us. Whereas if we plan ahead a little bit, do just a little bit of meal planning, it doesn't have to be coming up with a whole week-long menu. But even if it's the night before thinking, all right, I have this block, and this block of time, and packing a little snack rather than grabbing a bag of chips or a candy bar or something from the vending machine, but having a healthy granola bar or an apple or something like that with you, that would be a better choice.
It's funny that you mentioned like a bag of chips, because that's something I do often. I have like a busy day, so I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just run to food.com and grab some chips, but you're saying like definitely pack before to...
And it's not that those things can't be incorporated, but if that becomes your routine, that's when it's problematic. So if it's every once in a while and you just didn't have time to plan, that's not going to be the end of things. But if you know there's a certain day of the week that is your tough day, doing a little bit of planning ahead to get some healthier options that you have available.
Okay, so what are some recommendations for meals for students on the go?
In general, the less processed and more fresh you can get foods, the better. So avoid any of the diets that eliminate certain food groups. So any of the fat is bad, carb is bad kind of mentality. We need foods, a huge variety of foods that's how our body works most efficiently. That's how we're most healthy. So choosing some of those healthier carbs, kind of whole grain carbs, that is extremely healthy for you. That is not going to make you gain weight. The thing that makes people gain weight really is portion size. That's where people run into trouble. As Americans, we tend to way overestimate what a serving is and consume large amounts of highly processed foods that you don't really see as much in other countries. And that's why you see certain chronic diseases, diabetes, heart disease, have much higher rates here in this country than in some others that tend to eat a more whole foods diet.
Now, where can someone go on campus that wants to get help with their diet?
There's actually a dietitian that works through SU Food Services. So if you have questions regarding your meal plan, food allergies like the last piece was talking about, or just where to go on campus to get certain types of foods, there is a dietitian, Ruth Sullivan, that works there. If it's someone that has kind of more personal medical issues or diet-related questions for themselves, there is also a dietitian that works through SU Health Services that could answer any of those specific medical type questions.
Okay, well,
or you could always stop by the nutrition department and chat with us.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. Once again, thank you so much for coming on here to speak about nutrition. It's very important. Now,
thank you.
I'm Michelle Houston, and this is Mornings on the Hill. Still to come here on Mornings on the Hill, Faith King was in the Dome yesterday when the New York Mets paid a visit. Coming up, she'll tell us about what that meant to fans here in Syracuse. Stay with us, that story and more just ahead.
There's a new gender-affirming clothing closet here at Syracuse.
The LGBT Resource Center in its new 5th floor suite in Byrd Library is presenting a new gender-affirming clothing closet. If students are looking for gently used wardrobe items, the clothing rack is filled with various items for everyone to come try out some new styles. And on Friday, the Resource Center is looking to expand the closet with a clothing swap at 6 p.m. It's opening day for Major League Baseball tomorrow.
The New York Mets were inside the Loud House yesterday afternoon to promote their new AAA team, the Syracuse Mets, once known as the Syracuse Chiefs.
It was the Mets' last spring training practice before they open up against the Washington Nationals tomorrow. Fans were treated to an afternoon of watching their favorite team take their last reps in the Carrier Dome before the season starts, and even a bullpen pitching session from All-Star Noah Syndergaard.
Awesome. I know me and a bunch of my teammates, we didn't know what to expect to come down here, but when we got here, we saw the stadium, we felt the energy from the crowd, and we loved it. We loved every second of it, and we definitely enjoyed ourselves out there for the short time we spent.
Fans were treated to free t-shirts and autographs from the team. Many fans are excited for the New York Mets' new AAA team to take the field a little closer to home.
Faith, what is the most exciting portion of this year for you?
The Syracuse Mets open up their inaugural season next Thursday, but you can catch the New York Mets tomorrow against the Washington Nationals. First pitch at 1:05 p.m.
Well, this new season starting, are you jacked up about Major League Baseball coming back finally?
It's awesome that it's coming back. I am a Kansas City Royals fan, so not so much Mets or
You're
Yankees.
from Nebraska.
Well, Kansas is the closest to us,
all right.
so we have the AAA team in Nebraska.
You guys following baseball at all? Here we go.
My favorite part about baseball is just it means spring's here, which means warmer weather and summertime, and that's the part I'm excited for.
Absolutely.
I second that. I used to play softball, but I didn't really know much about it.
Were you good?
No.
Okay. Our 10th. Now, before we go, if you're looking for some fun springtime activities away from campus, we've got something for you.
Maple syrup season is just starting in upstate New York, and Crit's Farm is nearby Cazenovia is inviting guests to an all-you-can-eat buffet of maple treats. Plus, you can watch the entire sap to syrup process.
The event starts at 9 a.m. both Saturday and Sunday. If you're if you right behind us here, we have pictures of the Critz Farms maple beer. What are we thinking?
I don't know if I could drink maple syrup. You know, only seems good on pancakes.
I just can't imagine like mowing the lawn on a Saturday and being like, oh, nothing feels better than a good maple beer.
No.
It could have like a little sweet taste to it, you know.
Yeah,
Don't knock it till you try it.
That'll do it for us here this morning. I'm Sam Carter. Thanks so much for watching Orange Nation.
And I'm Faith Kane. Don't go away. Mornings on the Hill continues right after the break. Abby, Kendra, and the rest of our team will be back with much more.
Good morning, I'm Abigail Fridman. Thanks for joining us for Mornings on the Hill.
And I'm Kendra Sheehan. Here's a look at some of the stories we'll be talking about in our second half hour.
Meet some of the candidates running for Student Association President and Vice President in the fall.
An engineering student is working to make SU safer. See the device that can help all members of our community.
And classes to help with that end of semester stress are available to students and faculty. We'll show you where you can relax on campus.
All that, plus your weather and orange sports coming up on this edition of Mornings on the Hill.
Our top story this half hour, race for Student Association presidency and vice presidency starts in 2 weeks, and 2 campaigns have already been launched.
Our Landon Wexler is live in studio to break down for us who the candidates are and what to expect in the weeks leading up to elections.
Thank you so much, ladies. Well, with election time almost here, it's time to get to know our presidential and vice presidential hopefuls. Campaigning together are Mackenzie Martikas running as SA president and Samiha Saeed running as her vice president. Martikas is a junior political science and public relations major from the Jersey Shore. She spends her time out of the classroom as executive board member of the cancer research fundraiser Relay for Life, as president of the Traditions Commissions, and chief of staff of the Student Association. She also serves as co-chair of both the Health and Wellness and Student Communications Advisory Committees. Her running mate, Saeed, is a sophomore psychology major from Florida. She's an active member in the first-year leadership program Orange Seeds, community relations chair for Autothon 2019, and works as a tutor for Literacy Corps. As a self-identified half-Indian, half-Pakistani Muslim lower-middle-class woman, she says it's time for some representation change on this campus. Together, Martikas and Saeed are running with 5 pillars in mind.
First one is diversity and inclusion. Second one is financial accessibility. The third one is community engagement. Fourth is health and wellness. And our last one is transparency and accountability, which kind of ties all of them together.
Golden and Kylie Vick running for president and vice president, respectively. Golden is a sophomore religion major from Charlotte, North Carolina. He's an assembly member and the academic affairs chair for SA. He also serves as a residence advisor in Flint Hall and will continue to do so in next year. His VP, Kylie Vick, is a freshman international relations major. She's a native upstate New Yorker from Rochester. She's currently the director of DPS Relations for Student Association and is an assembly representative. While Vick is still a first-year student, she says she's just as ready to run for office and serve as any of the other candidates.
I've always been able to adapt. I'm very used to being in leadership positions also.
Together, the 2 candidates are promising a thorough DPS review and an expansion and to expand student protection resources.
Sexual assault reform, so we want to bring in a new sexual assault reporting system, which is used in other campuses and has drastically reduced the amount of sexual assaults on their campus. And then we also want to work on transparency.
Both candidate sets will be debating on April 1st at 7 p.m. in Huntington Beard Krause's Gifford Auditorium. The SA elections will be active on April 8th to the 11th, where students can cast their votes on MySlice. Make sure your voice as an SU student is heard. Reporting live in studio, I am Landon Wexler from Mornings on the Hill.
Thanks so much, Landon. It's time for another check on your weather for today.
Kayla Burton is live out on University Ave to show us what to expect.
Thanks, Kendra and Abby. Well, today, folks, is a day where you can wake up, put a smile on your face, and walk outside the door, because I have some news for you that I don't think you Syracuse folks have heard in quite some time. No snowfall on the ground, nothing but sunlight. Now, I can't promise you this for the rest of this week, but let's take a look and see what we have going on. Today, we will see the beautiful sunlight with lows at about 33 degrees and reach a high at 49. And later on throughout the week, we'll be seeing some rainfall. Like I said, not much snowfall, at least toward the end of the week, but we will expect to see some rain. Tomorrow there is a 60% chance of rain, but more on the warmer side of the week, as we'll hit about a high of 56 degrees. And Friday, it'll drop to only a little to a high of 49 degrees and a low of 36 with a 40% chance of rain. But Saturday, ladies and gentlemen, we jump to a high of 66 degrees. As a good friend of mine once said, a little rain can't hurt nobody. It will be much warmer, and then on Sunday we will get a little snowfall and temperatures will drop to a low of 28 degrees and a high of 40 degrees. So all in all, not so bad. Like I said, today is a day of sunshine, so you'll see people walking. Still wear your gloves because it is a little bit cold outside. I'm Kayla Burton for Mornings on the Hill. Guys, back to you.
Thanks so much, Kayla. One engineering student is looking to make students feel safer while they're on and off campus.
Jacqueline Hingry has been working on a wearable device called Halo that allows students to call for help in an instant.
I had a friend kind of go through a situation that no one should ever go through, especially off campus, and it kind of just opened my eyes to the fact that students don't really have a device or an option for calling for help like as quickly as possible, especially if they are off campus.
So how it works is students have the device they can wear as a bracelet or attached to a keychain. If you feel you are in danger, all you have to do is press the button on the device 3 times and it will send a distress signal to law enforcement with your exact location. Hingry will be presenting her device to investors at a national competition in Texas next week.
It's Syracuse University's 149th birthday on Sunday, and the campus is celebrating all week long.
SU will be hosting a variety of events this week, including sales at the bookstore, so all you can save on your favorite orange apparel. There's also ice cream tasting and much more. Forever Orange Week will culminate with the Orange Circle Awards starting at 5 p.m. on Thursday in the Shine student section. Alumni are also participating in service projects across the country to make their communities a better place.
And it's beyond the midway mark here at Syracuse, and the only thing people really want to feel is relaxed during this crazy time.
Starting this evening, the university is hosting an event specifically for faculty and staff here at Syracuse that will allow them to do just that.
A yoga class will be held on campus at Sims Hall from 5:30 to 6:30 tonight. Syracuse's certified yogi, performer, and music teacher, Laura Enslin, will be instructing the class. And it may be dark outside, but the experience inside is well worth the effort to get there. The class will be held at Sims Hall, located on floor 1 in room 123. Syracuse student Rachel Goose says after long days in the classroom, faculty should definitely attend.
I think the faculty does so much for the students already that they deserve their own form of relaxation without having to spend money or have to stress about what times are available for them. Because if the school provides it, they can just go right ahead and not have to stress.
The event will take place right next to the Department of Public Safety in Sims Hall, room 123. If you have any more questions, you can email wellness@syr.edu.
And if finals and graduation have you all wound up, try de-stressing with meditation right here on campus.
SU's Lerner Center for Public Health Promotion is offering meditation on Mondays. Students like Brian Sanchez say that Mondays have become his kickstart to a less stressful week.
But now I find that like Mondays, I prep for my work, I do what I can, and then I go over there, and then I feel like the week and the day has just started for me. And I'm more productive, I'm much happier, I'm not as stressed as I used to be.
Started in January and goes through the end of April. Since Brian has been going to the Meditation Mondays, he says he's even started to meditate on his own.
Students who want to try distressing can go to Hendricks Chapel every Monday between noon and 1 p.m. to meditate.
Coming up here on Mornings on the Hill, DPS releases a map of their jurisdiction after 3 SU students were attacked last month.
Also coming up, Newhouse students get a chance to do some interior decorating. Stay with us for those stories and much, much more on Mornings on the Hill.
Welcome back. If you have an emergency on campus, you call DPS. But if you're off campus, will Syracuse police respond instead?
It's a question of jurisdiction. Our Daniel Booth is live in studio to tell us what DPS is doing to try and clear up any confusion.
After the assault on Ackerman Avenue last month, the Department of Public Safety is making an effort to have its leaders and officers more readily available to the campus community. DPS is highlighting its jurisdiction both on and off campus so students know where they can depend on DPS.
It's really important to know the people that can enforce the law so that you can open a healthy relationship with them, and in the case of trouble, you know who to reach out to.
Ryan is one of the many Syracuse students taking safety into their own hands.
We run an off-campus art space, and we like to maintain a really safe and responsible environment, even in the party culture that we kind of create. And part of that is making sure that we know who we need to reach out to when things get out of hand.
There's been some confusion over the jurisdiction of the campus police department, and this week DPS decided to do something about it.
When you visit the DPS website, you're going to find a map of their entire jurisdiction, which stretches from main campus all the way down to Drumlins.
Every time the university buys or sells a property, the jurisdiction changes.
Before the map, there weren't a lot of students living close to campus who knew whether it was better to call DPS or the city police department.
If we don't own a property, or if we don't have some administrative authority over a property, or if we don't lease a property, we don't have police jurisdiction at that location.
There was a public forum held after the assaults on Ackerman Avenue last month. Students came forward and discussed the need for DPS to be more transparent.
It was a catalyst to make sure that we got an accurate map that was accessible.
Clarifying the jurisdiction lines have already had positive results.
Pieces of information like the jurisdictions of who to call when you're in trouble, you got to utilize that and continue pushing forward for a safe environment.
If you want to see the map for yourself, go to www.dps.syr.edu and click Jurisdiction under the Law Enforcement tab. Reporting live in studio, I'm Daniel Booth for Mornings on the Hill. Abigail and Kendra, back to you.
Thanks, Daniel. If you're a Newhouse student and you've gone to food.com in the last few days, you may have noticed some new furniture.
Unfortunately, the dining center isn't getting a makeover, but one section of Newhouse is, and you get the chance to help design it.
Students have been voting on new chairs all week to replace the infamous orange ones in the mower bridge that connects Newhouse 1 and 2. Those orange chairs have been in Newhouse for 11 years.
Feel free to stop by and
try chairs in the bridge between Newhouse 1 and 2, and so we wanted to give students the opportunity to vote and pick their favorite, since students are the ones that sit in them all the time.
Feel free to stop by and try them out like some of these guys are, and the new furniture will hopefully be in Newhouse by the fall. Voting ends today, so make sure to pick out your favorite.
Welcome back to Mornings on the Hill. I'm Fernando Garcia Franceschini, and a group of SU students traveled to Washington, D.C. to learn about government issues and to speak to policymakers. We're joined this morning by Rebecca Goodsell, a political science senior that took part in this trip. Good morning, Rebecca. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Okay, so let's start from the very beginning. How did this trip came to be? Did you have to apply? Were you selected? How did that happen?
So ACC Advocacy Days is an annual event, and it involves the student government every year. So this year there was a high interest from the student government, and so we had to actually apply. There was like a Google form sent around to everyone in the government. It consisted of a couple questions of what's your availability, do you have the funds, and then it was just a personal narrative of why you want to go and what do you think you can bring to the trip. So out of that, 6 students were selected from the Student Association government to actually make the trip.
Okay, and there's a lot happening in the country right now. So I'm sure that a lot of people would love the opportunity to go to DC and talk to these policymakers. You had that opportunity. Mm-hmm. Who are you most excited to talk with, and what did you talk about?
So 2 of them I were pretty excited to, Senator Chuck Schumer, because previously that day, President Trump had actually subtweeted him. So it was interesting to see what he was going to say about that and the dynamic relationship between those two. Also, Christian Gillibrand has always been a big supporter of everything we were advocating for. So to talk to their representatives to just reinforce that to continue what she was doing was a good opportunity for us. So those 2 meetings were the 2 I was looking forward to, just because both of their policy aligned with what we were advocating for.
And I guess a lot of great things happened in this trip, but what surprised you the most of your time there?
The thing that surprised me the most was how willing the other student governments were to like talk and work with each other. So we had a couple meetings with all the other schools. So it was the whole entire ACC conference. So Miami, NC State were all there with representatives from their government. And we had a meeting at one point where they just wanted to get everyone's information so we could start a Facebook group or a group meet, just so we could work across the conference to see what was working at other schools, what other issues some other schools were dealing with, and how we could put our input, how they could help us. So that was really interesting to me, like the willingness of other schools to be able to want to help other governments and what they can learn from what other people are doing.
And before coming on air, you were telling me that going in this trip reassured your commitment to wanting to work in Washington. How come?
While we were on this trip, it was a very, the experiences we got to see were very in and out. Like we were able to go into the specific offices. We got to talk with staff members about how they got to that position and what they had to do to get there. And just, it was a very welcoming environment in terms of how they wanted to help us. Multiple like senior staff members talked about their experiences and where we could apply for jobs, and were actually willing to help us get our foot in the door. So that was a good experience for me in terms of I'm graduating this year, so what am I about to do? They explained like the breakdown of what you need to do to start and then how you can work up, so that was really good for me.
And what is your ideal dream job in DC?
I would love to be one of the staff members that work with the policy. I'm really big on lobbying too, so somewhere in the lobbyist realm would be ideal.
And how was the experience of working with other fellow SU students?
It was really beneficial for me to go with another group of SU students who I wasn't that close with before, but after talking with multiple representatives, it was a good experience for all of us to kind of build off each other. Once someone had said something, then we could follow it up with our personal statements. Also, just to be able to work together, because most of us were political science or government majors, so we got to work together to see like how we can get a job after graduation. Like it was a group effort.
Thank you so much for joining us, Rebecca, this morning. I can't wait to see you take over DC. That's something really exciting. For Mornings on the Hill, I'm Fernando Garcia Franceschini.
Good morning. I'm Tamar Turner with your Orange Sports Update here on Mornings on the Hill. March is here, and it has brought all the madness along with it. The women's basketball are still going strong as they hosted the second round at the Carrier Dome on Monday. The Orange were looking to beat South Dakota State to advance to the Sweet 16 for the second time in just 4 years. But the real story here of the night, point guard and Australian sensation Tiana Mangakahia. Going into the game, Tiana needed 8 assists to break the Syracuse career record, which is 590, held by Alexis Patterson. She finished the regular season with 268 assists, which was the most in the nation. Not only has Tiana been selected for the All-ACC first team, but also the All-ACC tournament first team. The Orange came up short, but Tiana set a new Syracuse record with 591 assists. After a 25-9 finish to the season, Coach Q emphasized the importance of improving as they move forward. But basketball isn't the only team involved in the madness, as the women's lacrosse team is on a hot streak after winning their last 4 games. A complete turnaround from last season, the Orange are ranked number 4 in the IWLCA poll and are 10-2 on the season. The Orange offense is led by junior Emily Harris-Chuck, who has 129 career goals, earning her the 11th spot on the Syracuse all-time list. Of the 12 games so far, she has scored 4 or more goals in 10 of them. As of last week, 3 Orange players have been added to the Tewarton Award watch list, including Harris-Chuck, Nicole Levy, and freshman Sarah Cooper. But on the defensive end, Asa Goldstock has been almost unstoppable in the net and now has 400 career saves. Syracuse looks to keep the win streak alive as they host Albany tonight in the Carrier Dome at 6 p.m. And the 28-game road streak comes to an end for softball as they host Niagara today at 4 p.m. in the Skytop Stadium. That's your sports update. I'm Tamar Turner. Go Orange. Still to come here on Mornings on the Hill, we'll take an inside look at singer and songwriter for tonight's Prism concert.
Welcome back. Looking to go to a free concert? Tonight is the School of Visual and Performing Arts' 20th annual Prism concert.
The show highlights student performers from across campus. Our own Galat Malamed joins us now live with one of those artist stories.
Thanks, guys.
Prism is a 360-degree experience featuring colorful lights all throughout the theater. This original event also has some students performing their own original songs. I have a sneak peek at what one of those artists will be singing tonight.
Jordan Reynoso is a junior music industry major practicing her newest original song, Daydream.
It's kind of a quirky little song. I kind of wrote it. It's about having that like typical like crush and like realizing you have a crush on someone and you're like, oh snap, and like you're like out of it. And they're like not in your league, but like it's a typical thing. I'm stuck in a daydream.
Reynoso will be one of 18 student music acts at SU's School of Visual and Performing Arts Prism concert Wednesday night. But Reynoso's music career began long before she got to SU, starting with performing others' songs in elementary school and then making music of her own.
I've been songwriting though since I was like a sophomore in high school because one of my friends was songwriting and she got me into it, and I've been in love with it ever since.
Tonight, Jordan may be performing her original song, Daydream, in front of a packed crowd here at Krause College. But just a few months ago, she was performing that song for an audition tape for Prism concert producer Rebecca Ross.
Her audition just blew us away. She's just very genuine in her performing, and her singing is just so good.
This is Reynoso's third year performing in the Prism concert, but tonight she says audience members can expect something a little different. It will be her first time performing with a band.
Each year it gets even better because I get more comfortable doing it. Also having the people on stage with me to like perform it and make the song come to life will be super fun. I'm really excited for it.
And this song, Daydream, is actually so catchy that I found myself singing it while putting together this piece, and I know I'm not the only one. The producer says a lot of people here on campus know of Jordan's music, and she expects Jordan will bring in a big crowd to Setner Auditorium at 8 tonight. Live in the studio for Mornings on the Hill, I'm Gilat Malamed.
Hi, I'm Danielle Bullock, and here's what's going on this weekend on the Hill. Tomorrow, a great day because puppies, and everybody loves puppies. The Salt City Dog Show is at New York State Fairgrounds from 8 to 5. Does it really get any better though than laser tagging, bowling, bumper cars? I don't think so, because on Friday, you head over to Destiny USA for Orange After Dark. Tickets can be purchased at the Shine Box office for just $3. Even better, the tickets include full access of Apex entertainment, arcade tokens, and transportation. If you'd rather watch some sports and tennis and softball, both play at home at 4 p.m. Orange After Dark is in full effect. Even more, gather a team and together to go solve mysteries at Murder Mystery Dinner this Saturday. That will only cost you $3 as well. Buses leave from College Place and Goldstein Student Center at 10 p.m. Softball squares off with Notre Dame at noon. On Sunday, you can also catch them tennis in the morning. This is Weekends on the Hill. For Weekends on the Hill, I'm Danielle Bullock.
Thanks, Danielle. Finally this morning, one of Broadway's biggest hits is making a stop in Syracuse this weekend.
That's right. Les Miserables debuted at the Landmark Theater last night. The touring group plays shows every night this week until Sunday, including 2 matinee performances over the weekend.
Les Mis has been seen by more than 70 million people around the world in over 20 languages. Tickets start at $25. You can get them at the theater or on the Landmark's website. And that'll do it for us this Wednesday here on Mornings on the Hill. I'm Abigail Fridman. Make sure you follow us on social media.
I'm Kendra Sheehan. Thanks for watching Orange Nation. We'll see you next Wednesday live 10 a.m. right here on OTN.